And we should be live. Maybe. I always say maybe, Pete, because you just don't know, man. Let's see if I can actually... Maybe I should tweet this out to the peoples. The peoples on Twitter.
Maybe people follow Twitter.
Apparently Twitter is like a real thing, man.
I remember when it wasn't.
Is live.
I can say one thing about Twitter though. They don't have shadow profiles on people waiting for them to sign up. So
All right, so let's see what's happening in the live chat. We got people already here. From what I could see, we have Jess. She's in the house. Madbird is here. Good to have you guys on. Both of you patiently waited for us to arrive. Paul G is here. Joeseph is in the house. Yeah, CP. It looks like StreamYard just kind of like stopped, like I said.
Let's see.
For whatever reason.
Based on the live chat after Joeseph,
got Roberts in the house.
Yep, Jarrett topping. MT HoustonTX.
I'm just gonna have to work from the YouTube chat, like you said, because the StreamYard's acting up. I just tried to reload it before, and we were still having that issue, but it's okay. We'll work around it.
I'm surprised Puerto Rican Groot in the chat doesn't say Groot.
I am Groot.
I am Groot.
All right, so we also have... Yeah, see, the problem now is I can't really highlight the live, with the comments. That's I kind of got used to that, man.
Oh, that was a nice feature.
So Pete, let me see if I could... You go ahead and do roll, and I'm going to see if I can reload it again. We'll see what happens.
Alrighty. Hello, Tommy Kelly. Thank you for coming on. Got Puerto Rican Groot. Raffy's here as always, holding down the big wrench. Hello, Eric Ream. Matt W's in the house. Mark Hoyle. Hey, everybody. Okay, hey to you, Mark.
I can pull him up now. All right, here we go. Catching up. All right.
Jamaal Matthews says hi.
Jamaal, good to have you on, brother. Hey, Mikey, just give me the sign that you're ready to go.
Like Robert here, Twitter is dead to him. It's dead to me too, man. It's dead to me too.
Technoid, what's up, brother? I think you're muted, bruh.
Before we jump in on that, which he is muted on his headset, not on his computer, Tommy Kelly gives us a $4.99 super chat saying super chats are wide open.
Good to have you on, Puerto Rican Groot. Raffy, good to have you on, sir. Thanks for the check. Eric Ream, Matt Dubb, thank you. Mark, TK, thanks for the super chat, bro. Appreciate it. Bust it wide open, TK. Appreciate you. Greetings and facilitations from Maverick.
We need facilitations.
Mike, we got no audio on your end, bro. Okay.
Facilitations are kind of like salutations, but more auspicious.
Max, Wham, Walter, Heath, good to have you guys on. Nertz, Delbert, Joe, good to have you on as well. Slaw, doing well, buddy. How are you? Good to have you on. Did I miss a super chat?
There's one coming up. You didn't get the Mikey Tech Review one saying, hey, here is $2 if you get thirsty.
Yeah, so there's problems in the chat or whatever. I don't know what's going on there. I'll try to get to everything. Now? Got you.
Yeah, your AirPod Pros aren't flat now, are they?
Those were Galaxy Buds.
Yeah, same difference to me.
Mikey, thanks for
I
the
look
super
like a
chat, bro.
mess.
Appreciate you.
You want to know what I've been up to for the past few weeks since I haven't been posting? And I think everybody knows. Fucking college life.
What are you doing?
We're all doing it, bro.
Macroeconomics, accounting, and a couple of marketing classes. But mostly I've been making notes, been making little side things just for memorization.
I think we should pick him up to do marketing when he's done with school.
Nice. Just let him run the whole show, right?
Yeah, mark it all. I
You know me.
submitted a poster abstract to ASAC for this December, waiting to hear back from them. It's about the security of IoT devices in the house.
Really?
IoT is going to be huge starting next year, Pete.
Yep.
We're gonna start to see more and more of those devices coming out.
Hopefully people get the mid-range ones and not the cheap ones, because the cheap ones, one of these days I'm going to be controlling them without being connected.
Yo, wait, before y'all say something, check this out. I'm literally, for the first time, I'm using my iPad as the monitor for the first time ever. This is like my iPad screen. So what you're seeing is my iPad connected to the USB-C to HDMI. So I'm going to say it's not optimized, but for an iPad on a monitor, it's decent.
Nice, man. You know, I've always been a fan of the iPads more so than the iPhones, personally.
I agree. That's fair to say. You know, the iPad's more capable. It's a more established, I would say. It's more established.
Bro, you better turn your thing upside down or else you're going to get a nosebleed.
Oh, my.
He's upside down. Are you aware? Is that on purpose?
Let me see. How about that?
Oh.
No, he's right side up to me.
Now he's good. All right.
Okay, it was a glitch. It was probably just a glitch.
All right, so here's what's on the agenda for today.
Oh
wait, first I gotta do the whole introduction, right, Pete?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Amazing introduction.
All right, let me do the introduction. Today is Sunday, November 10th, 2019. Welcome to the SMT Sunday Podcast. I'd like to thank you all for being here, regardless of where you are watching this from. You may be watching this from the northern or southern, eastern, western hemisphere, whatever time zone you're in. Could be morning, afternoon, or evening. Of course, if you're in Zimbabwe, what are you in the southern hemisphere, right?
Yep.
Okay. If you're in Uganda, southern hemisphere, right?
Oh yeah.
But we are in the western hemisphere, but on the eastern seaboard. Except for Pete, he's not. He's in a mountain somewhere.
I'm in no coast.
And then I do think Mike is actually on the eastern seaboard.
Yeah, he's in New York.
Okay. All right. So regardless, if you're in the east or the west, it's all relative because you're in the east and the west somewhere. And I think that's it. I just tried to confuse myself there, but it didn't work. But anyways, we're going to podcast on some topics tonight. I just found probably 2 or 3 stories being reported from a couple of, I guess if we can call leaksters reputable, they're leaksters that have been right in the past, and they've been right in the past several times. So I guess trusted as trusted can be, because they're not releasing renders. They're not showing pictures or anything. What they're doing is they're going over specifications and some features from some key devices for 2020.
Remember one thing about leakers. Follow what we learned from the CIA. Trust but verify.
Yeah. I mean, there's some good stuff in here that makes sense, which is why I wanted to present it tonight. So, Mike, Technoid, this is kind of your realm, which is why I kind of wanted to have you on. Pete, I mean, we're in tune with 5G from a hardware standpoint pretty well, you know?
Yep.
And I think between all of us, yeah, we can kind of figure things out here.
I have no arms growing, and I'm healthier today than I was 3 months ago, so... I can say no immediate health effects from working in 5G radio waves.
And you take like what Robert Montoya is saying, selective leaks are used to move discourse. I think that's pretty accurate. I think it, can
Google
create
does
some good
that all the
discussion and
time.
stuff. Right. Yeah. So I'm all for it. Tom, good to have you on. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. So the three major groups of devices we'll be talking about tonight is Apple for 2020, and this is all for 2020. Apple, Samsung, and Google. Google less so, Apple a little bit, and then a lot of Galaxy because there's tons of news there. Well, at least from the leaking or whatever. So, to be honest with you, of those three manufacturers, I think the Samsung side kind of intrigues me the most. They're one of those companies that I actually trust with 5G. I'm not sure if I really know what iPhone's going to do unless they go Qualcomm. Then we're having the same conversation with all three of these companies. So that remains to be seen.
What's the likelihood of Apple doing a 5G antenna in the A range or whatever they name their custom silicon?
Probably not for a couple years. At least one more year.
Yeah, they if they want to do 2020 5G, they need a third-party vendor. In-house, you're looking 2021, 2022.
Yeah. So, Mike, we've talked about this in the past with the Intel purchase for that 5G ARM. Things are moving slowly, and it doesn't look like they'll be ready for even next year. Looks more like 2021, maybe, and then 2022, I guess the latest. So, I don't know what you've seen, what you've heard. You got anything there for Apple?
Well, I haven't heard much because I'll be honest, the reason I haven't posted anything is because the news that have been coming out, they don't sound too good to be true, meaning it sounds too good to be true, so I don't want to report on stuff that, leads to false information. But I've read a lot of things on the net about Apple supposedly shipping, this is a rumor, and I was just looking at the article. They are rumored to start preparing 5G phones, and they're planning out how many they are going to ship out in 2020. Somebody ran out a number saying 50 million. And I thought to myself, I was like, there's no way, because there's been no tests of 5G from them. They don't seem eager to push it, and I don't believe it. So I didn't cover it. In terms of the modems with the Intel accusation, I haven't seen them heard anything about them trying to start testing their own modem chips. So as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I know, there has been no talk of 5G with Apple. And I think that that's where it's at right now. There really hasn't been anything because there really is not much to talk about.
Okay, so it looks like most of the news then we'll focus on, I think, is going to be the Samsung leak from the source. All right, so for 2020, and I think it's fair that now, like, I've done videos on 5G hardware in the past, and a lot of people have said, kind of temper your expectations, slow down, hit the brakes, pump the brakes, don't get too excited because adoption of 5G phones is going to take a while. And that makes total sense. I get it. But when the devices are starting to go out in terms of like mass scale, then they're going to be in stores, and then people are going to look and they're going to inquire and they're going to ask salespeople, hey, what's the advantage of this? Where's the network? Is it, that type of thing is happening. And I say with T-Mobile, probably the most, these devices are going to be important because now we actually have a network where people can connect at a large scale. It's not like
this phone gets to N71. You'll have about the same speed, but you'll have less jitter.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right, Pete? We just saw the announcement from T-Mobile speaking about their 5G on a national scale. Well, if they don't act in haste. T-Mobile always does things in a calculated way.
Oh, yeah.
So we have no reason but to trust them in this. So people can legit start looking at devices and start asking the question, is it worth it for me to upgrade to a 5G device? If so, how much and what are the features and stuff like that? And there's some pretty crazy specs from these devices, actually. So let's get started with the Samsung Galaxy S11. All right, so 2020, Samsung Galaxy S11. We're going to expect like a February, mid to late February launch. The devices usually are available a week or two after they launch. The phone is reportedly going to have 5 models, which is, holy crap, a lot of models.
That's a lot of models.
So usually in the past, the models were based on carrier models. But Samsung doesn't do that anymore. Now they make one model for each major device, and then they just attach some type of firmware, that gets, uploaded, whatever, via the carrier's SIM card. So
it's cheaper to do that than
course.
Get
of course
3 different chipsets.
So 5 models, 3 different display sizes, and the source in all of this is Evan Blass. You may not have heard of this guy before, Pete. I have. Mike, I know you have as well.
Mm-hmm,
So you know
I've
him.
heard of him.
Okay, so here's the way this is going to break down. The screen size number 1 is either a 6.2 or a 6.4. It's one or the other, and he can't confirm with certainty.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be the S11e, apparently. So it's going to replace the S10e.
That
right?
like entry level?
It's so last year it was what, $749 or something?
$749.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was the only one that didn't have curved edges.
Well,
yes.
Bummer, it is going to have curved edge this year. So there is not going to be a flat panel. Yeah, I like the flat panel.
All these new Samsungs are worthless. End of story.
Oh, you don't like curved edges?
Nah, I'm always whacking the side of the screen. I'm watching YouTube and I'm changing videos.
Yeah, that's.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. I'll not lie. This phone has, whenever I'm swiping, like a piece of my right here will touch the edge and it'll just mess up. So he's not wrong when he says that.
I'm getting a new screen protector on my Pixel because I changed the case to mitigate me tapping the side accidentally.
Mm-hmm.
And this doesn't even have curved glass.
I think that like touch sensitivity.
It does.
That's pretty very sensitive.
But it's not curved and edge area.
And wait, one thing, Sam. Before you read the rest of those specs list, because I know where you're getting them from, let me just give out a PSA to all people out there listening to the S11 rumors. Do not, I repeat, do not trust Ben Geskin. I don't care how great this looks. I don't care what this mofo says. If you see this being reported by news outlets, if you see this reported by BRG, Forbes, any news, do not believe it because of 2 reasons. 1, Ben is a mock-up render artist. He is not a reliable source. And number 2, he just goes off what he hears after it's been reported. And it's been proven with the AirPods Pro news. He reports something 20 minutes earlier, somebody already came out with it. So do not trust anything that has the word Ben Geskin in it. That's all I've got to say.
Okay. And I don't have any of the none of the announcements, rumors, or leaks in this particular podcast will involve Ben Geskin. It's just going to be Evan Blass, and there's one other person, but I think I may have forgotten to write it down, but it's not Ben Geskin. Anyways, I would like to welcome Paul, Gene, Cash Games, Randy, Mark. I know there's some people that just came in. Steven is here. Ronald. Yeah, Ice Universe. That's the other one. Thank you. Yeah, those are the two.
Be careful with him, too, because he has a tendency to take back his things fast. So be very careful with Ice, but he is a lot more reliable.
He's confirming the same thing as what Evan is, so that's why I got the two together.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. So I would say I'd rather trust Ice over Ben, but just be careful because he always tends, if something goes wrong, he pulls it out and pretends he never posted it. So very careful.
Okay. All right. DGAF, Mills, Ronald, good to have you guys on. Hideka as well. Jason, good to have you guys.
When is Hideka hopping on the podcast?
Okay, we good?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the first screen size, which they can't confirm with 100% certainty, is 6.2 or 6.4 inches, which would sound like a large phone, but something tells me by going with these edge-to-edge displays, these infinity displays, it won't be that bad. The device, whatever it is, the S11E or S11, whatever, it's going to be available in LTE and 5G models. So there's your first kind of classification of the modems. The second screen size is 6.7 inches. And I think that's going to be the S11. So the S11E is going to be 6.2 or 6.4. The S11 is going to be 6.7. That's a pretty big display for the standard model, whatever it is. Apparently, that's going to be LTE only. I didn't see any mention of 5G. I would think it would have a 5G like the S10e would. And actually, if you think about it, it should be the other way. The S10e should probably not have a 5G variant. The S10 should. Well, as the S10 or the S11 being like the flagship, right? The standard S flagship.
Well, you wanna get people in under the $1,300 price range. You do a 5G S11e, you could charge $950 for that.
I don't know,
and if it doesn't have curved glass, it'd be an amazing phone for that price.
I just thought it was kind of strange, the way they're trying to describe it.
You know what this sounds? Because I'm going to be honest right now. What you just said, how all three devices are going to have curved displays, it kind of sounds similar to what the reports of Ming-Chi Kuo was saying about Apple's iPhones all having OLED displays next year. So it kind of sounds similar in the range where everybody's going OLED, but in this case, it's just curved. So it's very similar, similar reports.
All right, thank you for the super chat, Carlos. I'm having a hard time with the StreamYard, so I can't pull up the comments.
So I know what's going on with that. I know what's going on. The stream, they sent out a notification saying that there's a bug. They're trying to fix it right now as we speak.
So there's a gerbil running in a treadmill trying to produce something at the moment. Nice.
So we've got the 6.2 or 6.4 S11e. We've got the standard S11 coming in at 6.7 inches. And then we have screen size number 3, which is 6.9 inches. I'm assuming this is going to be the S11 Plus, and there will be a 5G variant for this because it'll be, kind of what we saw this year with the S10 Plus 5G. The only issue with the S10 Plus 5G is it was millimeter wave only. The only S10 Plus 5G was that. And in fact, it wasn't even initially sold anywhere except Verizon. They had exclusivity. Now you can buy them from T-Mobile online. You could buy it from AT&T online, apparently. I don't know. Somebody told me. I haven't checked. I can't confirm that because they are doing 5G millimeter wave for enterprise, apparently. But whatever. Anyways, looks like 3 models with 5G variants. So that's good. I mean, we can tell that carriers are going to carry these phones. I'm not hearing anything about exclusivity. So that means they're all going to have their own variations of the 5G connectivity. So before we get to that part, let's just wrap up the specs. We talked about all of them being curved displays. All of them are greater than 6-inch displays. They range between 6 and 7 inches. Rumor is saying 120 hertz. I actually don't think that's going to happen. And I think the reason for that is 120 hertz sounds like a Note option, like a Note 11 feature. What do you say to that, Mike?
I would agree with you, but I think Samsung is trying to phase out the Note series because they're trying to use the Galaxy Fold as like the new Note lineup because the Note 10 and the S10 Plus are kind of lacking in features, like separation, I would say. So, I mean, I would agree with you, but it's just that they're trying to start, make that shift, make the S11 Plus like the Note series. But yeah, I mean, I would agree with you if they weren't doing that.
Go ahead, Pete.
I'm liking that idea of having the Fold replace the Note, personally.
Kind of being like the trophy device of the...
Yeah.
So check out this this camera speculation. 108 megapixel main camera.
I heard that.
I've heard that.
How do you go from 12 megapixels to 108?
You add a coprocessor and 3 more lenses.
So that thing's going to have probably 5, maybe 6 cameras.
I don't know, maybe. But when I think like adding that many megapixels, it would be like doing this to my Pixel 3.
I mean, that's great. 108 megapixels. They're talking 6K resolution on video, and they're talking 5x optical zoom.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll go 6K because there's not even a market or not even any adaptation of 6K. At least not yet, anyway.
Nope. There's 4K, and then there's 8K. The Japanese aren't even making 6K screens.
I've never even heard of a 6K. So to me, 4K seems more realistic because 8K on a handheld just doesn't really seem to fit, you know?
Also, aside from like $40,000 Sharp screens and $38,000 Sony screens, you cannot get 8K on anything.
Oh yeah.
So that would be like a good feature, but who would use it? The top 0.1% of the world using phones?
You talking in 8K?
Yeah.
I don't even. Yeah, I wouldn't. It wouldn't pique my interest at this point.
It is expensive, man.
Yeah. All right, batteries. And this will circle back to all these features. Batteries, they're talking 4,000 milliamp hour for the entry level. That would be the S11E. That would be amazing because on a smaller device, having a nice size battery like that, depending on whether or not they put the 120 hertz, which let's assume that they don't. Let's assume a 90 hertz. Let's assume 60 hertz, right? 4,000 milliamp hour. That should be some pretty good screen on time. Probably a full day. I can't really see why not, depending on how much video you record and how much photography you do. But 4,000 milliamp hour battery on the entry level phone should be awesome. They're talking 5,000 milliamp hour for the larger devices. So like the S11 Plus and the S11 Plus 5G.
I feel like we're in China. I feel like this is stuff that Chinese companies would do right now in China. Like, this is crazy. 5,000. I mean, it's understandable for the 5G because, that's really what the battery's going towards.
Yeah, the millimeter wave phones, that's just going to drain the moment you see condensation anywhere.
Exactly. One thing I'll say about that battery size, though, if you think about it, battery tech should be improving to the point, like we're talking the actual hardware of the battery, no, not software optimization or anything like that. I'm just talking about the actual physiology of the batteries. The lithium ion technology has kind of plateaued a bit. That. Right. So is that 5,000 milliamp hour battery, has it gotten to the point where it's just, we're getting 5,000 milliamp hours into a smaller space and then we could just get that extra 1,000 milliamp hours? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe the layering of the polymer is a little bit thinner.
We can't shrink our current battery technology anymore. It's theoretically at its capacity limit. We could probably get 0.5% smaller, but even then, it would not be groundbreaking.
So moving forward, it's going to be the graphene tech?
It has to be.
Graphene would be the most logical. Because graphene, I think that's where they're heading. I think that would be a smarter choice to put that in as the next battery. Because you introduce the market to it. You see how it runs in the test. Like you do you go through your market test, you test market it, see how it reacts with consumers. If it works, then you roll it out. If not, you could always go back to the lithium ion. But I don't know.
So the thing about battery usage, and kind of Mikey Tech Reviews is talking about it, your processor is what works the hardest. I know people talk about the display, OLEDs, and turning brightness down. That helps a little bit, but the truth of the matter is depending on what you're doing with your processor, you've got big cores, you've got little cores. When those big cores get to lifting, when they're doing all of the video stuff, when they're doing the gaming stuff, and those big cores start running heavy, and let's not forget, Pete, based on that size of that display, 6.9 inch for size 3, you mean to tell me that phone's not going to have an active cooling mod?
It's gonna need one.
Oh, it's gonna have. It will, and it must.
That's roughly the size of a Switch, and that only does high power mode when it's plugged in.
So whether they do like a heat sink or some kind of copper piping, or I don't know, whatever they choose to do, the hydro, what do they call that? The thermal tape. There could be a few
Thermal
different
paste and things.
Yeah, whatever they try, whatever it ends up being, I think it'll be more active based on the pricing of these phones. We know that they're going to come in $1,500, $1,300, right?
Oh, it's going to be. And I'll tell you one thing, even if they get that copper cooling, whatever they do for these phones, tell you one thing for sure, it'll definitely dispense heat better than a MacBook. Joke. That was a cheesy.
And I think what people underestimate is the technology that Samsung's ready to deploy in a device like this with a 120 hertz display and a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, and it's going to be, a Snapdragon 865. It's going to have these 5G modems. It's going to have all this different tech, and it's going to get hot, and it's going to have to dissipate the heat, and the display is going to be big and powerful and bright.
So
they do crazy net. Mike, you know that display. You've got the Note.
Oh yeah, I've got it, and I'll be honest with you, the 4300 makes a big difference because most people say that they can't even go to 6 in the afternoon. I put this thing on full performance, like that means nothing's throttled, it's at its max, and I'm able to still get 13% at 9 o'clock at night. So that 4300 comes in big time, and this is a 90 hertz display. This ain't 120.
So we're talking roughly the size, having more horsepower, more battery, more heating. There's going to have to be some type of active cooling in that phone. Even if
right?
I think graphene would be good too, because
graphene lowers the heat.
The graphene would be better with dispensing the heat and also reducing it.
Well, it's 7 times smaller than the common material at the moment. So, sheer volume reduction will reduce heat. No, 15 times smaller. I was thinking compared to silicon. But yeah, you're gonna need some active cooling or like the, OnePlus does some type of liquid cooling on their phones.
Well, the liquid cooling makes sense. I'm good with that. I mean, as long as it's contained, it's fine.
Honestly, DJ makes a fair point. I was just reading the comment section. He says, follow the gaming phone's path. They come with fans and cooling systems. Well, I don't know about the fan part. I only know Razer phones, but honestly, he's not wrong when he says that because gaming companies are known for their cooling systems. So go in their route. They're better at it because they use high-end specs for these phones.
Yeah, I agree. That'd probably be the best way to go. So see what Razer is doing, see what the ROG phone is doing.
They could technically have it so only the cooling system only activates if it's CPU intensive. So most of the time you don't experience it if you're someone who sends text messages or plays Pokemon Go.
The one last thing to say about the Samsung devices, these, S11s and the 5G variants and whatnot. The one thing to mention, we've kind of talked a little bit about the heating issue. These phones are going to be power phones, right? They're going to be used heavily. They'll be rendering video. A lot of creators will buy this, one of these phones, myself included, probably. I'm probably going to be looking at one of these. Gamers could be using this phone. I mean, there's a ton, right? It has a lot of market potential. The battery size, think about the 5G modems. And Pete, we can kind of speak to this. Each carrier is also going to do its own thing. They're going to ask Qualcomm, we're all doing 5G differently. Like literally they're calling Qualcomm and they're saying, hey, we're doing mid-band and we're doing low band and we got this merger going on. So T-Mobile is saying, We want all of our S11s that we're going to have in our stores.
They also
be
have
low
high
and mid.
band millimeter waves, so they want the entire taco.
Is that going to happen next year?
No.
So we're gonna expect T-Mobile to have low and mid 5G S11s, right?
Yep. And maybe the
Yeah.
S13 will have the entire layer cake.
Well, if you think about it, though, they don't have to go to Qualcomm necessarily.
Okay,
Because
so
I
what do
know that
you
Nokia.
want to do? You want to get MediaTek involved?
I was about to say because Samsung and them merged, well, not merged, but they kind of partnered together, and apparently they're being called the next top rival to Qualcomm for the 5G modems in 2020. So, I mean, I don't know. I would say that if they're partnering up, that would be interesting to see. I would think it'd be pretty cool because, hey, any money that Samsung can make, that's money in their pocket. They don't have to fish it out to Qualcomm to keep using to mass produce their modems. Because I know Samsung has their own CPUs at times, right? The
Exynos.
Yeah, but they're
So-
not here.
No, those are only
Well, that's the only thing.
global unlocked.
Because
Well,
we
what
would
would you
like
think?
those
You think
phones here, but
MediaTek would be cool?
Qualcomm's locking things down here.
Yep.
Well, what do you think? Would it be interesting to try out a MediaTek and Samsung modem?
No.
I have no interest in a MediaTek processor. MediaTek has some of the most horrendous history and track record when it comes to updates. I don't know, for whatever reason. Like if you look at all the mid-range phones, all the import phones that have MediaTek offerings, those phones never sniff an update. OS, security patches, nothing.
MediaTek's great if you want unauthorized root access.
Right, but I mean, that's a security risk.
That is
Yeah,
a security risk, he's
blatantly.
right.
So I mean, those are all things to consider. So T-Mobile's going to want low and mid band. Verizon's going to request what, Pete?
They want that millimeter wave and the more battery, so the phone doesn't die when they fall under a cloud.
AT&T is going to probably request a low band.
And midband.
You think so?
Yep.
Okay.
But
So-
their first iteration, well, midband would be about the time T-Mobile does the millimeter wave, the midband, and the low band. AT&T will start out with something optimized for band 14 and whatever else government contract they're able to build out cheaply.
So that means the AT&T and T-Mobile variants will be the same. If they're both
Practically.
mid and low. Okay, I think the chat's working now. $2
So,
super chat from K Deuce. Oh
Hey.
man,
that's recent, man.
I know it's like within the last minute or something. I think we got it fixed. Woohoo!
Someone kicked it in the right spot.
I was gonna say one last thing. K Deuce mentions the active. I would love them to bring back the active line. Mike, what does that mean? What's that face you just made?
Oh, no, I was just interacting with the thing it was covering, so I'm just pretending like that. You know how they do? Like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah, I would love an active. The active comes with, like a rubberized material, kind of like a case built
Yeah,
onto the phone.
You could throw that in the water. Don't
Yeah,
run
it's
it over.
IP69 rating or something. It'll give you shatterproof display. It's kind of like plexiglass, sort of.
It's almost as durable as an original NES.
Oh, it's shockproof, military spec shockproof too.
Yeah, but you don't want to drive a tank over it.
That would be cool. I would like that device. That would be pretty sweet. Okay,
Let's
so
see if I
Verizon's
can
got
get
a millimeter wave.
Hold up,
Oh,
I
go
got a
ahead, Mike.
phone for you that does that.
Oh no! Oh no! I was about to say he wanted the tank to be ridden over. Let's see if we can get jerry rig everything to give it a level 6 and level 7 deep groove on the tank.
Bro, it would scratch at like a level 2. If it's
Deeper groove
plexiglass.
instead of level 3.
Yeah, it probably would groove at a level 3. You're right. I don't know what Pete's doing. What is going on?
He's pulling out a phone.
It's a Game Boy.
Oh,
You
I
want
remember
a
that good old
phone as
days.
durable as a Game Boy.
He's so true, though. It's so true. I remember kids used to drop that thing so many times.
I've
So
drop kicked
Justin-
this into a highway.
Pete, this is good right here. Justin has T-Mobile's home internet service. He's got a couple of YouTube videos on it. So if you guys are interested, check out Justin's channel. He's got good videos covering the installation, the use and all of that. Yeah, right there. Go ahead, Mikey. Point to it.
Justin, what bands are on that home modem?
Yeah, he's had it for a while too. I want to say, like, he got it like right away when it first became available earlier this year.
I want to say lucky him or lucky him.
Lucky him. He says it's been working pretty good.
Well, unlucky him because he probably had bad alternatives in his area prior.
That's true. Right now, band 2 and 71.
Hey, I'd like to see you get the 5G upgrade too if it does 71 natively.
Pete, what are these Galaxies going to cost, man? Just the standard LTE ones. S11, S11E, S11 Plus.
S11E, I could see if they do the curved glass, somewhere between 750 and 800. Baseline S11 950 plus 1050.
S11 Plus, you said?
Yeah, 1050.
I was thinking maybe $1,000, $999. They like to save you that dollar. What do you think, Mike?
I'm gonna piggyback on Pete. I'm actually gonna go with what he said. I agree, because they always are gonna try to figure out ways to get money out of the 5G phones, but also LTE. I don't think it'll rip people off. So I'm gonna go with what he said. He pretty much hit on the nail, Pete.
What about the
Woo!
5G
Oh, no, wrong side,
model
wrong
for
box.
the?
Woo!
What about the 5G model for the smaller S11, regular S11?
That's gonna be in the thousands. I can see that coming from a mile away. It's gonna be in the thousands. But
The S11E,
part of the thousands?
950.
For a
I'm
5G
gonna say
variant?
1,099.
Yep.
Okay, S11 standard, not the E 5G.
I'm gonna say 1199.
Yeah. 1200.
And then the Plus.
15.
That's gonna probably. Well, wait. This is the 5G model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
14, 15. I can see it being 1400, 1500.
Expensive, dog.
Too
How
rich
did
for
we
my
get
blood.
there? How did we get there? It was yesterday. Phones were like 700, 600. Now we're spending We're spending pretty much what this thing costs.
I'll tell you how we got there. People started selling $850 smartwatches.
Who sells that?
Apple.
Do they?
Yes, he's not lying. Hell, now it's up to 1,000 now. Now it's in the thousands.
Wait,
'Cause they got the
$1,000?
They got
Ronald-
titanium and
Ronald
ceramic.
Billion
I'm not
Apple.
making this up.
Wow. Yeah, so we got these really expensive smartwatches that are becoming more and more ubiquitous. By the way, I paid $150 for this.
It's a nice timepiece, man. I like
It
the
is.
band
I'm getting
also.
the
It's
active
nice.
too, but until then, I'm rocking it naked.
Well, you don't receive business calls on your wrist.
That's okay. I'm more of an active guy. I usually do for the health and fitness.
I do both.
So Justin's got the T-Mobile home internet. He's saying now he's able to stream to Twitch. He was never able to do this out in he lives in a rural part of the US.
Yeah.
And with T-Mobile's internet providing him with better speeds, now he's able to do more with his connectivity, which is great.
Has
see
he
that,
ever asked them if they want a customer endorsement for that stuff?
Buy all the Sneedlings S11 plus 5Gs.
Jesus Christ. No, I just looked up something here. $799 for the Apple Watch Series 5 in titanium. That's $800 for
I
a
got a
watch.
Fossil Gen 4 for...
How is that, by the way, anyway? I actually want to know about it. Let me know how it sounds.
The only downside I've encountered is 20 hours of battery life. But I get my Google Pay, I get all my notifications, I get my phone calls, I get my agenda. I have Google Fit, which seems to do a better job keeping track of my steps than my Fitbit did. Yeah. All in all, I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10. Worth what I paid for.
All right. Do you think it'd be better than the... Oh, and then some. Do you think it would be better than the Galaxy Watch Active 2?
No.
Really?
However, based on the price, this will probably be $150 less. It has more than enough for it to more than justify the price point.
Oh, all right. No problem.
So,
that's fine.
All things equal at the same, if they were both on the measuring both on their merits, not like, okay, this is $300 worth of tech in it, this is $150. Say this might be slightly better, but there are some features on the Active 2 that I don't remember off the top of my head. Heck, even the Active, that would have been nice. Like, I can't get GPS maps on this. Active, I could. But if I wanted GPS maps, I'd be paying another $60.
Here's
What'd you say,
a question. Here's a question from a device that's up and coming in December. So we'll finally get the Note. We'll finally get the Note 10 Plus to other carriers besides Verizon. So it'll be mid and low band compatible. We're also going to see the OnePlus 7T Pro 5G McLaren. The issue with this device, Gary, is it's going to be a limited edition device, which makes it expensive.
It'd be between $1,250 and $1,350.
Probably because
that's where I'm going.
Yeah, because 5G phones are expensive, and then this one's going to be limited edition. Even though it's a OnePlus, it's still going to be expensive.
But let's give props though. Like, I'm going to be honest, even though it does sound expensive, let's give props to OnePlus because look, obviously OnePlus, they know the market. They know people are not going to go rush this phone. But the smart thing for them to do is like, okay, this is limited edition, so we'll only make a little bit because obviously we're not going to mass produce this thing. At least they know we're not going to get a lot of money out of this, so at least we could say, hey, we just make it a little bit. Let's see how much we can get out of it. And if they do well, maybe they'll make more. If not, so I give them props on that for at least trying to do something new to capture more market share.
There was just something I wanted to highlight. So Maverick he's a unique individual. He's got a unique perspective when it comes to the wireless providers. He loves Sprint.
I love Sprint too. They have this delicious 2.5 gigahertz frequency.
He says, if the merger goes through, I won't be upgrading. If the merger fails, I'll definitely upgrade. I don't even know what to say. I don't. So you're gonna upgrade to a 5G device to a less competent network? I don't. Why would you? It doesn't make sense. Like, you're gonna invest in a network that's going to be operated by a company with over $30 billion in debt, but you won't with a company that has initiatives designed to give national 5G coverage. It actually doesn't make sense.
And has a fat wallet from their German overseers.
Well, to be fair to Maverick, it sounds like loyalty, but I think he's got to expand a little more because I'm having a little hard time understanding what he said. So I'm gonna need you to explain a little more, my brother.
My next door neighbor, diehard Sprint fan, he used to work with the company as some type of consultant. Not really interested in T-Mobile, but he's all for the merger simply because it will get him better service and he'd still feel good about who he's on.
This guy has the best name in tech. We have Tech Boner right here. He says, what will AT&T 5G be like?
Band 14.
It's going to be awesome, but expensive.
And probably only available if you're a business.
Well, the millimeter wave will be enterprise, but they will have low and mid band, from what we understand. Band 14 for low, right, Pete?
Yep.
And then they'll do some combination of 3.5.
They have some 3.5.
1900, right?
100.
Yeah.
I think they might also have some 3.7 in the mix.
So they'll do their mid band that way, and it'll be good, and it'll be expensive. I don't know. They haven't talked about pricing, but from what I understand, it's not going to be included. It's not going to be what T-Mobile's doing.
Oh yeah. Speaking of T-Mobile, I got a question for both of you.
Oh, here's all right. Just before I let you go, the Maverick situation. He said financing. It's because of the cost of the devices. That's why. Okay, I thought we were talking from the network side of things, but now I get it. It's going to be
still don't
dodge the bullet.
No, Pete. What he's basically saying is he can finance the entire device cost through Sprint. He can't do that with T-Mobile, and that's true. T-Mobile will make you what,
the entire device cost through my bank. No, they'll also give me better loan terms.
Yeah,
no,
so
seriously.
So I get what Maverick's saying, though. You know, he's not a business. He's got to pay like a regular consumer does, and if he's got to come up 500 and still finance 800, he's paying $40 a month while still having a cough of 500, or have a trade-in worth 500. You know, that sort of thing. Faye, good to have you on. I saw you earlier. I couldn't highlight your comments, so glad you could be here.
So you mind if I ask that question real fast?
Go ahead, man.
So you guys, you've seen the announcements with the Uncarrier 1.0, you know, their announcements with promising to give free home internet, hotspots, and things for first responders and all that. My question to you guys, do you think that T-Mobile will actually go through 100% on what they are promising? And be honest. Be honest.
Yes.
And
at worst, 95.
I want to hear why.
Pete, you go ahead, bro. I'm ready. I got my ammunition, man. I'm good to go. I'm ready to do this. But you can have at it.
I could see them at worst going 95% of the way there, but the main initiative with them is they're trying to convince the states that say you're going to raise prices on our underserved populations. You're not going to build out rural. They're trying to appease the U.S. government by saying, hey, we want to break the digital divide by directly subsidizing the lack of internet for homework. The only way they could fall short is if they promise too much and everything they put on their frequencies, including T-Vision, overburden it, but I don't think Neville is that stupid.
All right, my turn? My turn?
Now? Your turn.
Okay. So the Heroes program is for first responders, right?
Priority 0 on the network.
How many first responders are there in terms of the total population of the U.S.?
A lot.
Really?
Well,
how many police? Okay, so the United States has 327 million people in it.
Yep.
How many of them are first responders?
Maybe 1-2%.
Okay, that's the first thing. That's not hard to do. That's not hard to provide.
8%.
How much?
8%.
8% are first responders?
Yeah.
I'm surprised. If that's right, I'm very surprised it's even that high.
Me too.
All right. So, anyways, it's under 10%. I think we can all agree on that. The second.
Dispatchers count. Yeah.
Okay.
Dispatchers, yes.
Fine. Okay. Cool. We're still under 10%. That's a small segment of the country. Next, we have the. What was it? Connect 10 million.
Yep. That's the internet for the digital divide.
They're giving people 100 gigs of data per year. Pete, what kind of strain does that put on the network? 100 gigs of data per year, not per month, per year.
Sneed, you and I eat that up in a month and a half.
And number 3.
Also, I must say, with the Connect 10 million or whatever it is, There's a chance the video for education purposes will fall under binge on.
Last thing, number 3. The thing, what is it? What's that initiative called, Pete? The third one. It was the one about it cut everything in half. The 2 cheapest plans. They went from 50 to 25 and from 30 to 15. That's a 2 gig plan and a 5 gig plan.
Postpaid, mind you.
Prepaid or postpaid doesn't matter.
It's postpaid priority.
But Pete, it's 2 gigs of data. It's 5 gigs of data. Even when they get the 0.5 added each year for the 5 years, that's nothing. Those users aren't going to do much to the priority or to the operations of the network. It's not going to slow down the network. John's like, we can do this. Now we look like saints to the AGs.
So, was it me or did I imagine?
Yes, you did, Pete. Yes, you did. Yes, you can brag. Go ahead. You called it. Go.
The $15 plan, if you show up and say you're under a certain income threshold, they'll lower the price.
They're doing it by state.
Yeah.
So a state like Mississippi, a state like Alabama, we're talking, a majority of rural America. Like, let's take another state, for example, Oklahoma or Nebraska. They've got a handful of cities that are developed, and then they've got a lot of the rural America expanded, limited options, that sort of thing, right? Those are the type of states you're going to see some sweeter deals. They might be a little bit cheaper. They might offer a little bit more internet connectivity.
You might be down to $7 a month on that plan if you're destitute.
But see, that's what I'm saying, Mike, is these concessions that they're making, they're not going to hurt T-Mobile's bottom line. Bro, you know what the bottom line is? The 2.5 gigahertz is that valuable that the premium and postpaid consumers will benefit from that so much that T-Mobile's willing to spend $60 billion in the next 5 years. That's what this merger is coming out to. $60 billion. And I'm just talking network infrastructure. I'm not even talking about the spending on just buying Sprint for $26 billion.
Plus their debt.
I see.
So it's water under the bridge. Once these customers, for the 5 years that they'll have these options, once that's done, we're talking 2025, bro. Like, what will networks be like in 5 years, Pete?
We have no idea.
We might be seeing 1,000 megabits per second on an average speed test. So to me, honestly, Mike, this is not hard to do. And if anything, this is specifically for the political issue. It's the attorneys general versus T-Mobile, how this is going to look in court, because Verizon doesn't do this, because AT&T doesn't do this. None of them have any type of programs like this, specifically addressing the needs of the national American public. So, I mean, they throttled firefighters last year when they were fighting fires in California.
That was Verizon.
That's Verizon, bro.
Also, the rural departments might receive more than 50% off their line discount.
They'll make it work, bro. It's all for politics in this case, but T-Mobile's not stupid. They wouldn't agree to do it unless they could handle it.
I agree. And honestly, I'm just gonna be honest, like, maybe flat out, I already knew they were gonna be possible because I know T-Mobile. They make things happen. But I also did it just because I just wanted to get the SMT out of you. And you know how I got it out of you? When you grab that pen. When you got that pen in your hand, you spitting facts, I'm like, yep, that's the SMT. He's holding that pen like this. You see the pen motion? He's like, yeah, so we got these, T-Mobile got these powers on. Like, yeah, that's spitting bars and facts right now. You got that pen in hand. That's how I know.
That's right, bro. You tried to get me there. You tried to get me.
He's a teacher, man. He's got his head out. He's dropping info. Take notes.
But yes, I agree. I think T-Mobile is going to pull this off. And you know something? T-Mobile has never backed down on the words. And if they ever did, they would announce it instead of trying to wipe it under the carpet. And they always try to, make things work. They're not a company that gives up. So I have faith in them. They're going to pull this through. And as for the political aspect, 100%. They need to look good in the case. But either way, they're still looking good. They're still going to look good in the case. Because either way, the judge is probably going to throw the case out. Because look how many attorney generals have been agreeing to T-Mobile. Colorado, Nebraska, a couple of others. So the case is just looking worse for the New York side because Letitia James, I haven't heard anything
Bro, that's your
from
girl,
her.
bro.
She's been so
That's
quiet.
your girl. That's
You
your
gotta
girl.
write her. I wrote Phil Weiser, and on the third message they finally flipped. I don't know if I had anything to do with it, but Phil Weiser, the AG of Colorado, said, "Yeah, build out 660,000 square miles of rural 5G in my state," and they said, "Okay, if you flip."
Yo, look in the live chat, Mike.
I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. Where the hell are you? Come on now. Let's bring it up now. Come on, Greensbury rules. Put
Well,
it up, you
she's
little
your
man.
attorney general, though.
She ain't my attorney general. She's this state's attorney general. Honestly, let's be real here.
Right
Letitia
to
James,
her.
the only reason she's doing. I've tried. Look, honestly, I really don't think that these messages are going anywhere because they see that you support, and then they're just like, they don't understand. They don't even probably take their time to read or respond.
I must say, I get that same feeling when I write my congressman, Ken Buck. I end all my letters with, I'm not going to say it, that might be a little political, but I get things saying, in the mail saying, "Thank you for your support. Don't worry, we're supporting this issue you're against."
This right here.
And
that
I'm
Maverick-
like, want to give him the good old Union salute.
Well, so Pete, what you're talking about, like with your attorney general, right? So Maverick says all these things that T-Mobile is claiming on doing are in concessions. If not, what's the repercussions? Colorado put repercussions in there.
Yep.
They've got millions of dollars in fines if they don't follow through on the percentages of 5G coverage. Pete, we've talked about this. We've looked at the numbers.
It would cost them more to fail than it would to buy the company effectively.
Right. Agree. Yes.
So I think what Maverick is insisting here is that we got to make sure that T-Mobile's held to this because these are promises that will hurt the people if they're not followed through.
Oh yeah.
So
people come first in this scenario.
Yeah, so I'm with what Maverick is saying. He's obviously not really pro merger, but he's saying if it's going to happen, we need consumer protections. There has to be a follow-up. Like, you got to hold these people to the fire.
Can I just ask something? And I know I'm probably going to get a lot of heat from this, but like to all those that aren't for the merger, what more can T-Mobile do to convince you? Because I've seen them give up so much in this.
I don't think if somebody's against the merger today, Mike, I don't think there's anything you could do to convince them. You know what I'm like? They're convinced, they're steadfast that losing the carrier hurts the market. They don't believe Dish will adequately suffice as the fourth carrier, and they think that it's going to do more harm than good when it comes to whether it's the jobs or it's the lack of options, whatever it is. It's those things. You're not going to be able to break that down from them. Like they're going to hold on to that. And I've had these conversations with people. Going from 4 to 3 does indeed reduce your options, but there is going to be a fourth. How good they're going to be is up for debate, but Sprint sucks. So we haven't really had a legitimate fourth national carrier in years.
I remember when we had a legitimate fourth national carrier.
But that was before LTE.
Nextel did a great job.
Well, they were fifth, actually.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? Like they were, but Pete, this is before LTE.
This is before 3G.
So we're talking about technologies that predate all of our high data requirements. Since data has become a thing and people are paying for data plans, Sprint has been behind and they've been unable to compete nationally in LTE coverage. The commercials I see from them say things like all the networks perform the same. No, they don't. Not even close, because I have tried all of the networks. And there is a clear difference both in national and local coverage. And them just saying that is just them copping out. Hey, we're all the same. Well, if that was the case,
No,
then
they're
everybody
not.
would just. If that was the case, then everybody would just take the cheapest carrier.
Yeah, if that was the case, I'd
Mhm.
be on Sprint right now saying
But
this
the
merger is bad.
but the cheapest carrier has gone from 86 million subs to 54 million subs in less than a decade. It's been since 2010. So what's going on? How do you lose customers? It's when you're either your
Well, it's
performance of
not
your
even
network is not
that.
good. What is it then?
No, it's how do you lose customers while giving away free service?
Yeah, they have all those they have all these Kickstart plans where people are paying $25 a month for unlimited service. Some are even getting free lines for the next year. And they still
T-Mobile doesn't
lost.
like that one.
Pete, there's a guy who had a comment in the comment section on a video from last week. You remember on Monday I reported the Sprint earnings report?
Yep.
They lost 270,000 postpaid subscribers.
It's a lot of people.
And he said in the comment section, you're forgetting about the 130,000 they added. But they lost 400,000. I
This
can
was
do
net.
math. I can do math. If you lose 400,000 and you add 130,000, that's 270,000 lost.
Yep.
Like as a net. I can do math. You know what I'm saying? Like what I have to mention the 130 they added or the 400 they lost. Whatever. I mean, you can't talk to
calm
these
down.
people.
It's relax. It's tiramisu time.
He's a
Let's keep
silent
going.
science teacher. He can
Bro,
do
it's-
basic arithmetic.
It's math.
I love this, man. I'm enjoying this right now.
You know, it's crazy, bro. Like the comment sections are the most amazing part of the channel. I absolutely love them. When
I
I
try
get
to be
the
active in them.
You're right.
yeah, bro, the interaction with the Sneedles, the Sneedlings, the SMT Nation, everybody in there is it's
Mhm.
great. And then there's always a couple in there that literally say things so disconnected from reality that I'm just like, why is this happening to me? I thought I didn't have these problems on my channel. And then like something like that happened. Because honestly, Mike, Pete, you guys know me. I try to be as objective as possible so that people don't look at me and question where my intentions are. I want them to think, all right, this guy is objective. He doesn't take any type of sides. He has no preference. Like
Mhm.
I try to report, but I also support
Mhm.
things that help the consumer. You know, because at the end of the day, I'm still a consumer. These people don't pay me, bro.
We
T-Mobile
can.
hasn't given me $1. Verizon hasn't given me $1. Sprint, T-Mobile, none of them. They haven't given me a dime, bro. So
The
I'm
biggest,
just. Go ahead.
biggest sponsors on this channel are the patrons, which I'm a part of.
That's it. That's it. And those that provide super chats, it's the people though. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm about to
One thing I gotta
review. Oh, go ahead, Mikey.
Oh no! There's one thing I always like about comment sections is it shows out the true nature of people. Like it shows where people's heads are most of the time. Either they're caught up in the moment, they say things they don't mean, or they actually are just delusional. They really mean what they're saying, or sometimes they're just genuinely smart people and generally nice people that say things. Like when you say those people that just say things that they have no idea, like you just. I see that so many times. But what amazes me is that people feed into their BS. Like instead of just being like, all right, just believe what you want to believe, they literally like go down their throats and try to stomp them till they understand and see it their way. But I'm just like, you don't gotta really, give it attention. Just let it go. But I don't know. I mean, to somebody that does that on your channel, would you typically try to respond to convince them otherwise, or would you try to understand what they're saying, or how would you approach that?
So it depends on two things. Number one, if they're willing to give discourse, we can engage. So let's say they leave a comment. I'll offer something. Right?
Got two super chats in.
Hey, thank you. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you being here. Thank you, Carlos. Appreciate it. I know the arithmetic, man. It's crazy. 1 + 1 = football on Sundays. Any other day, it equals 2.
Are we talking like gridiron football or pitch football?
I'm just talking football, bro. American football.
Ah man, I wanted to say shout outs to the American women international football team winning the World Cup more often than the men's Met qualifiers.
So back to what I was saying, Mike. Let me finish. So if they put a
Yeah,
comment, I'll engage them. I won't come
Mhm.
at them with animosity. I can always disagree with somebody and still have, positive discourse. Most of the time, they don't respond. So
That's
here's what
true.
happens. I comment back. I reply. No response. My next video, they do another comment, poo-pooing whatever I'm reporting. I'll comment
Mhm.
again. I'll reply. No response. Now that's a trend. That's 2 times in a row you didn't respond. So the next time you comment, I'm not going to reply. Because what am I expecting
Oh.
now? No response, no reply.
Mhm.
Thanks,
I
Faye.
think I gotta start
Appreciate you.
replying more.
Appreciate the super chat. So, like, I give people the opportunity. I open the window for the discussion. If they engage me, they'll always have a special place with the conversation. Like take Lavendi, for example, a guy in the comment section who's been following my channel, watching my videos for several months. Dude's got solid takes. We don't agree on everything, but the discourse is good. You get what I'm saying? And then there's
agree, yes.
that guy I was describing earlier. I reply, and there's nothing. So he wanted to say what he wanted to say, but he didn't want to engage in a conversation. So he wanted to comment, but he doesn't want a conversation. So now I know he just wants to comment, and I'm not going to stop him. I'm not blocking him. He has a right to a comment, but I can't engage in a conversation. Conversation involves how many people, Pete?
At least 2.
Dialogue, right? So if there's no dialogue, if it's just a monologue, I have to leave it alone.
Hey, our YouTube chat went away for a second on the thing.
Is it back? Is it back?
Let's see. It's up to date.
All right, listen. First of all, you guys are amazing. I love you guys. All the Sneedles out there, the SMT Nation, you guys are amazing. I
Hey,
appreciate
we got a new feature on the StreamYard chat. We now have the super chat buttons dissipating at the same time as the YouTube.
Ooh, I see that now.
Hey, I want to test something. Could anyone throw a sticker up?
Oh, are we doing stickers yet?
No, nobody's done a sticker yet.
Somebody
yet.
donate like a 30-cent sticker. Let's see what happens. Can you do a
30-cent sticker, man.
Hey, Sam.
Giving YouTube 1 cent.
Yo, Sam, real quick. What else did you want to talk about? I know you said you wanted to talk about Samsung, Apple, and what was the last one?
Just I guess the iPhone. So, like with 5G for iPhones for 2020, I think it's fair. I think it's fair to expect a 5G phone. It's just not going to be Apple's 5G modem. It's going to have to be Qualcomm, which I'm okay with. I'm fine with it. That's not a problem. It's not a big deal. But I still think there's a possibility, whether it's the 11S or the 12. We don't know the name, obviously. But
yes,
it's still 50-50 if we get a 5G device next year.
So,
you're right. Yes.
Real quick, I'd like to thank Carlos S. for testing the stickers, which are not showing up. Thank you for the 5 bones, and we will keep it up.
Man, I feel bad I can't show the sticker. What is it, like a dancing alien or something?
It looks more like a blue pear. Using some dumbbells like this.
Got you. Okay, well.
He has a sweatband.
Go ahead, Mike. You wanted to wrap things up there with the iPhone.
Well, I actually heard a report. I was about Qualcomm's boss basically hinting at a 5G iPhone, saying that it was in the works. Apparently, it was. I think the executives, they didn't say it by name, but it was a speculation. They were just talking about something, and then it just happened. They slipped out something about Apple, and that kind of gave people the idea that, okay, we're going to see an iPhone with 5G. So I don't have any doubt that Apple's going to do that, but my problem with Apple and their 5G is that they're going to try and act like, oh, we're going to do 5G differently from all other cell phones and stuff, when it's really just the same crap. And when it comes to them in general, I don't know if I would be willing to go get an iPhone for their 5G, because first of all, the rumors are already saying it's going to be the most expensive iPhone by a long shot.
So you can already see Apple's probably going to get these in the $2,000. I'm
What?
sorry, that sounds crazy. Let me
Ooh.
explain. Because Apple, look, I'm not saying it's going to start at 2000, but I'm saying like max configuration and even like in the neighborhood of in that range. Because Apple tends to do this stuff. The things that we don't think they would do, they do. And if you want to talk about innovating, Apple's great at innovating a price change in the market. So
Yep.
my worry is that if they do this 5G phone, they're not only going to shift. Also, I'm raising my head up for the comment section. But not only are they going to shift the price range in these 5G phones, but they're going to do it, and it's not even going to be special. So for me, I'm worried, and I'm not typically worried, but in this case with Apple, I'm worried.
The best way to instigate price changes on 5G phones is lowering the price.
Nobody blocked you, Puerto Rican Groot.
Wait, what?
I don't think anybody blocked him.
I timed him out for saying an uncouth comment.
Oh, okay. Well, let's keep it civil, everybody.
What
What
your
I'm thinking,
profanity?
what I'm thinking for Apple's 5G pricing, I could see them coming in at like 1,300 for the smaller one, and like 1,500 for the large one. But 2,000, man, that's crazy.
And you know, it sounds weird. I get
Are we
it,
really
why
ready
I said
for a
that, but
$2,000 phone? Are we?
I'm not gonna buy it.
but knowing Apple, knowing their mindset, their logic, they're not afraid to do it. Everyone said Apple wasn't gonna do $1,000 phone. iPhone 10 comes out, $999 starting price. Next year, same price but adds $100, but still crappy specs. This year, same price, 3 cameras. Okay, it's a little more reasonable. You can make an argument. But next year, with just when you think Apple's gonna give you more for your dollar, what happens? If who's to say they won't do it again? Because anytime you think they won't do it, they do it. And that's where I'm concerned, is because Apple, no matter what, always changes the market pricing for anything. We were at what, $799 is the highest for a smartphone before the iPhone 8 and iPhone 10. I don't know. I
Yep.
probably got that mixed up. When Apple started the $999 trend, boom, went everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned on that aspect because now consumers are going to have a harder time affording phones, which is why I think it's really important that they stick with the mid-range, because the mid-range has been the home run. So for me, I'm concerned because of Apple's game plan that they do.
Well, I would say that a mid-range 5G device is $900 to $1,000.
That would be the target price. That's the target market. That's the target right there. The only problem is that, are they going to do it next year? My answer would probably be no, because they want to maximize the top premiers before they start doing mid-range stuff. That's how it is with Apple. Remember the iPhone 10, then the 10s, and then the 10R. It took about a year before they made a budget version. Now this year they learned from the last year, so they kind of simplified it. But it took them a year before they made a budget version of the iPhone.
Now I'm confused with the iPhone. What happened to iteration 9?
Bad math, bro.
That's like
This is that
asking-
arithmetic problem we've been talking about tonight.
It's like, this is the iPhone Cross. Don't worry, it's not an off by one error. Next year, this is the Cross
That's like
S.
asking-
Next year, this is the
That's-
11. Wait
that's
a
like-
second.
Wait a minute. What do you mean you
That's like
agree with
asking-
Technoid? Nobody agrees with Technoid.
In the words of Tony Ferguson, it's Tony time, mofo.
Oh,
Now it's Technoid time.
It's Technoid time. I will
They're
say,
not-
No, overall.
Fine.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will say that you've seen the market pricing correction with Apple, but what they're giving you in their entry level pricing is, it's not flagship, in my opinion. It's flagship
premium.
to some, but like, yeah, like, okay, so they're doing what, $699 for the 11.
Yep.
The better phone has an extra camera and gives you extra features. Therefore, the $700 one is not your flagship from Apple. The flagship is the 11 Pro.
Pro Max.
And then the larger
They're
one is
pushing
the
the
Pro
Pro
Max,
Max.
right? Does the Pro Max have
Apple's gotta
something that
make
the
stuff.
Pro doesn't?
Bigger screen. That's about it.
Yeah.
Okay, well. So
Apple's still working on that philosophy. I just realized how out of date that sounds.
Pro doesn't mean anything to me.
Pro,
Oh,
as
yeah.
we've
Didn't we have
said,
this discussion?
yeah, as we said, Pro should be long battery, reliability, durability.
Didn't I talk about, like, remember how I compared this to being a real Pro phone? Being able to turn it into a desktop, being able to do things that a computer could do, but also being more accessible with features. Didn't we already have this discussion?
Yeah, we
I'm pretty
did.
sure it was on a replay.
We
Yeah.
also had, I think, Aloha Android on here.
Aloha
Is
Android,
that
where's he up to?
hibiscus?
It is.
I bought some hibiscus tea today.
Is it
from
sour?
It is.
That's
Got
good
it
stuff.
from this local tea company. Not going to name names, so I'm going to go into some advertising stuff. But, oh man. Great tea, man.
Pete, I got to share something because we talked about most of the 5G stuff. I got to share something, man. I got to tell the people about this.
Well, what is it?
T-Mobile's starting to slow down on me, man.
Ugh.
Oh,
They're doing some network stuff. They're doing some modifications to some towers nearby. It's not unbearably bad, but it's unpredictably changing bands.
And he's only at 32 gigs out of his 50 gig deprioritization threshold.
So it's good and it's bad in this way. It's good that they're modifying, reconfiguring towers. It's bad that I'm going through those growing pains.
I get them randomly myself, and I just hope I don't disconnect. I just hope the end result is better than the previous result.
I'm still working on the Almond Joys, man.
I got no candy. I didn't buy any candy, so I'm done with my candy.
I still got mine. I haven't even touched it.
Bunch of upgrades going on in my area. Yeah, Ricky, Ricky's really in tune with the upgrade situation. And
we noticed something interesting with Sneed's S10 iteration on T-Mobile yesterday. It was jumping between a tower that's like 12 miles, one that's 7, and one that's 5 sporadically.
it's really weird. I'm going to be changing devices
question.
this week.
It acted like my S9 did before I get rid of it.
Quick question, just to Ricky. I just want to know for me. Are you really from Florida? Is he from Florida?
Yeah, I believe he lives in the Keys.
Really?
Yes.
My man, we gotta link up sometime. I love that, man. Because you know why? It just so happens I'm in my little Miami vibes. Just got this today.
What is that?
Let's hit it up. Wait,
Bro.
Miami.
All right, bro. All right, dude. All right. I'm gonna mute, bro. I'm about to mute you. All right.
I hear
I'm sorry. I
weird
know I'm not
music.
weird today. I know that ain't weird because Will Smith's Miami.
Bro, nobody likes
Tell me
Will
y'all
Smith.
heard this. Now, but if y'all are wondering why I'm acting so weird right now, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I've just been so busy with school that I kind of forgot about the real world. So I'm just trying to come back into reality and just enjoy myself.
I know
And
you've
I've been watching Tony
studying
Burton.
for 16 hours straight, and your brain's kind of like,
All over the place.
oh yeah, I've been there and I hate it.
Ooh.
Bro, Hog Heaven? I ain't going to Hog Heaven, bro.
Why not?
That sounds crazy. I'm not interested.
I'll take you to Miami. We'll go down to Daytona, look for a good few girls, and we'll be all
Bro,
right. You buy
I'm
me a beer, we'll
married,
be
bro.
all right.
I'm not going to
married.
Daytona.
Not you, him.
Oh,
him.
okay. All right. Okay.
Okay.
I can't take. Well, maybe I'll take Pete with me. So Pete, you can probably come with me. I'll get you somebody.
Oh, I'm married.
I like Pete.
Okay, fine. Then, let's go back to breaking down.
Hey, I'm gonna be.
This is
If I
great,
come out to
honestly.
the NYC, Mike, you know you're gonna have to pull the carpet out for me, bro.
100%. I'll roll out the pink carpet. You know where I'm getting that idea from.
I like the pink carpet.
I ain't wearing pink
Nah,
shoes
but,
though.
I'll try to
So yeah, what
track
were we talking about? Go.
Mike.
I'm
I'll
sorry.
try and
Go ahead,
track
what were
you
you saying?
down next time I'm at Columbia doing a presentation.
Sounds fair to me. I live in Staten Island. I'll give you my first hint. Now you just do the work from there.
Staten Island.
No, wait, say that one more time.
Staten Island.
Yep.
Why did they keep the Dutch name?
I don't know. Staten Island is all where the Italians went to when there was no more room in Brooklyn.
That doesn't answer the question.
You talking about the naming?
Yes, stop
Yeah, because they got too
in
lazy to
state.
change it.
So the Staten in Dutch is like the state building.
State Island. It used to be a garbage dump, this place. Not even
Yeah,
lying.
it was.
Yeah, that's true. They capped all of it and they started charging money
They
for everybody to
capped
live
it,
there.
They put some dirt on top. They built some houses.
Only good thing about Staten Island, you'll find parking spots. That's it. You'll find good parking.
You
I
see a
get
lot of.
parking everywhere I go. I
Is
just
there a
pay
lot of
for
methane
it.
out there, bro? Coming out of the ground?
Methamphetamine or something. I don't know about that.
Hey! Can't talk about that on the podcast.
No,
man.
methane, bro. When they cap those mountains and it's got all that.
I know what
You
he's
know-
talking about.
What else you guys
But
want to talk
nah,
about, man? We were supposed to be on here for an hour. We're already an hour and a half in.
Right.
What else you guys want to do?
I want to ask you. Okay, we're gonna go in tech, but it's also outside of tech, in and out,
Okay.
kind of. So in
Okay.
and
Let's
out.
see.
So let's kind of focus our attention to something I don't think gets a lot of attention. I know we talk about phones, we talk about cellular, we talk a lot about that. But there's one thing we've never talked about, and I've never seen any of us talk about. And what's the one thing that we use on a daily, and we don't even realize we're using it now?
What is
I
that,
would-
a
I would
game?
That you were-
Console?
not a game.
Oh.
Air,
PC?
Linux,
It's right here. It's right in front of you. It's right there.
Microphones?
monitors.
What do we use to listen to music from other people not using it? What's on our
Oh.
heads right now?
Oh, headphones. Oh.
I knew it.
We've
No,
never
'cause there
talked-
was a report. There was a report saying, and I'm calling bull on this because there is no way this is accurate. So they're saying that the headphone industry as a whole is going to increase by 2024 at the same rate that 5G will be expanded. And it's a comparison. I'll send you the link. You could check out the data reports. They're projecting the market, headphone market as a whole. They're saying that it's going to increase at the same rate 5G rolls out nationwide. And the key players in the game are Sony, Bose, and now here comes a few names. AKG. I think you know about AKG.
Yeah.
And in second to last, Beats. So those are like the big names because of Apple. So they're saying these headphone brands are going to expand with more variety, just like what smartphones are doing, with light options,
So are
to
we getting a
expensive, to
Beats
tip
Pro?
top. Pete, they're already on the Beats Solo Pros. They've had Power Beats Pro already. Everything is Pro nowadays.
Pro means nothing. Sneed, we need to come up with a new branding to replace Pro.
So my question.
Let's
and
go
I
with
agree, we
Sneed
definitely need
approved.
a We need a seat approval, 100%. That's a logo right there. That's the logo.
I totally buy headphones with his
Oh no, I
face
could do
like
I could
that.
do the Nate Diaz.
No.
I'll do the Masvidal. I'll do the Masvidal. But yeah,
All right,
the
look,
question
so
is,
here's
do you think headphones? Here's the question:
Do you think headphones should be going in the route of smartphones, making light version of headphones to their noise cancelers to on-ears? Do they think they should be going in this route, or should they just stick what they are known for, just making one pair of headphone every year and then diversing it with in-ear and other things? What do you think?
The one thing I want to see improve with headphones is I want to see headphones become more adaptive. I want them to become more adaptive to surrounding environments. I want them to become a little bit more feature rich. And I do want to see battery life improve because everything being wireless. So if your focus is going to be Bluetooth connectivity, all the new Bluetooth protocols, so, getting up to the newest standard, obviously, improved distance, improved battery life, improved signal, ease in syncing. Like, I want all that to get better. But I think what they're talking about with them naming some of those companies, those are the companies that have the best hardware. Beats hardware is as average as it can get. It's very plasticky. It's very, very much the same as it's been since Dr. Dre started the whole thing. There has
Before he
been very
became an
little
Apple
change.
exec.
Yeah, before it's basically the same product. So the rest of the market is trying to improve and make things better and innovate. And then here's Apple's rendition of Beats. Like, we're just gonna make the new solo whatever for the year. And for somebody whose headphones just got out of warranty and went bad, they're just gonna buy new ones. We'll have them upgrade to the new version. So I'm not surprised Beats is down on the list, and I'm not surprised Sony and AKG and Bose are up because those companies innovate hardware. And people buy hardware features. Did he mute?
No, he took off his mic. Yep, he's muted. Anyway,
What?
I got these quality speakers.
Better now?
Yeah. They're
Okay, sorry, I hit a button by accident. I'm sorry.
So with headphones, I basically only look for noise canceling because of droning server fans. If I actually want to listen to some good music, I have this high-end German engineered tune binaural speaker and some high and mid-range speakers that cost $400 each in my living room. I listen to quality. I'm not going to be moving around $400 on my head. So, in my opinion, if you have something more than $100 on your head, you're just saying, "Hey, I got a lot of money on me."
Well,
I hear you, and I'll answer Paul. I study headphones like crazy. With Skull Candy, that's kind of your best entry level product because Skull Candy offers pretty decent sound for the price you pay. You're paying $20 for Skull Candies, but nowadays they've come a long way. They've improved their mid range. They've improved on the bass, so they're getting more flagship, but not in price. So they're offering good sound for a decent price. But I would say let them be your main headphone supplier. If anything, you should be with what you feel comfortable with. If you feel fine with Skull Candy, that's cool. But I would say go in the route of AKG. And that's what I was trying to show you guys because I use AKG because that's a studio company. They don't make headphones like this. They just started. And they've been in the game. I always say, and this is my opinion to anybody that buys headphones, buy from a company that's been in the market for a long time. AKG has been in the market since the 1940s. So they've now obviously making headphones, but as an audio company. So they know about sound profile. Sennheiser, I say AKG, I'm sorry. Hell, even Apple. They have great sound, they have sound developers that make great sounding products. We could talk crap about them, but give credit where credit is due. They make some good. I wish they would, improve the quality of beats, but that's not their department. JBL, yes, AKG is part of JBL. JBL is like their parent company. Not parent company, like their sibling company. So always go with somebody that's been in the game for a long time. Sony, Bose, AKG, Sennheiser, JLab. Any audio
those
other
are good
than
brands.
Beats.
Yeah, I would say, like, my wife My wife offered to buy me. She bought them for me. She bought me the Beats earbuds, the ones that wrap around the ear, and
Mm-hmm.
they were $200. And I told her, I was like, I don't like these. I love the gift. I love the idea. I love the gesture. You know what I'm saying? It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. But I'm telling you, I could find a pair of headphones on Amazon with a 5-star review for $30 that will do better than these headphones. And they'll be
Mhm.
more comfortable
Exactly.
and they'll have better battery life. They just don't have the letter B on them with a red circle in the middle or blue or whatever else you want.
Exactly.
Bro, I'm
And we're not just talking
35.
Beats. This goes
Listen,
for
bro,
everybody.
I'm 35 years old. I'm married. I have nobody to impress. So
Exactly.
I don't have to buy a sexy pair of headphones.
Hey, Sneed, you like those relax fit jeans?
What do I wear, bro?
Relax fit.
You got
That's what
them.
you wear when you have no one to impress.
I may actually have, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, actually, you know what? I got the low cuts too, boot cuts and stuff like that. I got some of that. But it just brings up the point that when you buy strictly on performance, you're not buying
Mhm.
Beats. If you're
Yeah,
buying
you're not
Beats,
buying.
it's because it's a name notoriety. You can't honestly tell me that Beats makes a headphone that's better than anything Sennheiser makes.
No,
I mean, it's
dude.
not even close. It's like, seriously, bro. If I had to make an analogy, Sennheiser's like a legit steakhouse, and Beats are like a steak sandwich at Subway. Like the grade difference in audio performance is just enormous. And honestly,
I
like
agree.
the bass response in Beats by Dre is not great. The highs and the mids
Oh
are
no.
fine, but I don't get good bass sound out of Beats by Dre.
And that's what they're known for. They're known for the bass. That's what they want. But not even Beats as a whole. You don't even need to buy Sennheisers or anything. There are companies out right now that you probably never even heard of that have pretty decent sounding headphones. Take Anchor. They acquired a company called Soundcore. Ever heard of Soundcore?
Yeah.
They just came out with the Liberty Air 2, the Liberty 2 Pro, and the Liberty 2. The Liberty 2 Pro is $150, but has an coax channel that has high performance drivers in the front and the back to deliver. And this headphone was made by 12 Grammy Award winning performers. And how much do you think they cost? Take a wild guess.
$1,200.
Dang.
They cost $150.
Wow.
12 Grammy Award winning singers sat down to tune, pick the components to make this thing, and it's $150. And on top of that, it is now being dubbed the best sounding in ear bud of 2019, and it's only been on the market for, I'm going to say 3 weeks.
I hear Mills Lane is talking about the AirPod Pro. I hear they're really good.
I got to try them out. I've still never had the chance to go down to the App Store. But the point that I'm trying to make is that you do buy headphones, but you don't buy them every year like a smartphone if you're that person that switches every year. You buy them you hold on to them because they hold. So these headphones, I bought them because I was sick of Beats. I wanted to get out of Beats, and this was the best company to go with. I love AKG, love Samsung. For me, I don't think that they should be going in the route of smartphones. We're trying to do a yearly release and say there's minimal updates and stuff because everything could be done by firmware updates. Because
Yeah, except for
firmware could be
like the
done.
Google Now assistants and stuff like some of that stuff needs.
Well, you can't, if you have an improved tweeter or woofer, you can't do that
Well, that's
over
different. That's a
firmware.
hardware. That's a hardware. That's a hardware. But I'm talking
All I
features
really
and
care
etc.
about with speakers and headphones is hardware.
Yeah, drivers, man.
I would say then, if you're gonna refresh, give it a year and a half at least. At least, because every year it feels like there's not enough to compel somebody to switch. Like I'm being honest, I'm buying the Anchor Liberty Air 2. That's like AirPod style kind of in ear. They're not really a big difference from last year's, but they have a better, like what Pete said, better driver and better woofer. It's diamond coated, so it has 50%. That's the marketing saying it's 50% more better bass response. So I would say if you're gonna buy headphones on average, buy them when the battery goes bad. and if you're out of warranty.
Mhm.
Because what's the point of keep buying headphones every year if they're going to be similar to the predecessor?
Especially if they're
Exactly.
going to be
have to say about
expensive,
that.
man. $200, $300, $400.
And that's another thing. These headphones are like $399, $350. These cost $299, and that was a reduction from last year. These cost $350, but AKG was like, "No, we're not getting $350 out of these," so they lowered them by $50. That's the standard price now. So I don't understand how people can pay these pay this amount of money, and yet, you get what you get. But damn, like $400 for a headphone with noise canceller, like that's a lot. And I gotta admit, that's Bose too. Bose charges.
Yep.
But yeah, that's about it. That's all I can say for that.
If I was going to spend premium dollars, I'd be looking at Sennheiser and Bose.
Not even AKG?
Yeah, that's a possibility. It depends, though. Am I, like what style? Like I personally like cans, right?
Yep.
I've always loved over ear setup and the big can style because like you have room for drivers, and
Yep.
you have room for like resonance and chambers that could like affect sound quality and performance. So I'm into that. Sony too. Like those, the hardware seems to call for the price. Earbuds, bro, like especially these wireless earbuds, the truly wireless ones. I don't even know if I could keep from losing them within 3 days.
That's my point in not wanting to spend $300 on them.
I got these included with my purchase. Something I purchased something from T-Mobile, and they gave these to me for free. $130 earbuds, pretty good. Samsung Galaxy Buds. I would never pay $250 for AirPods Pro, even if it had noise cancelers. Noise isolation is better in my opinion. Isolate your ear, you can still use the ambient feature. So why do I gotta pay $250 for headphones that cancel out noise from Apple? Nope, not doing it.
Exactly.
What is it? I'm considering to buy Galaxy Buds, but he said something about the sound quality.
Yep.
I wouldn't say DJ, in the time that they've had these, they've had firmware updates that have improved the sound quality. You get better bass, and also they sound a lot more vibrant and louder because a lot of complaints were that they weren't loud enough. So the firmware helped improve the sound quality. So just keep them up to date, and you should be fine. Most advanced technology is the ultra wire sonic experience. Never heard of that actually.
I'm not really a good guy to talk to about headphones.
Logitech, I know about.
I'm using Logitech and they're just fine.
Logitech is good too. So the point of all that I've tried to bring out tonight is that headphones are just like smartphones. We buy them just like a smartphone, but the thing is that if they're gonna go in that route of smartphones with making yearly updates,
Price
doing this
going up,
trend,
up.
price going up, that's what I'm trying to bring out is that everything is heading in this path. But in some cases, headphones we use them on a daily, and I'm not a guy that goes out and buys many headphones. Like this and this are the only two that I use. The only reason I'm getting the Anchor is because I'm not paying for AirPods. I don't want AirPods. And Anchor, Soundcore, I've heard a lot of good things about them, so I'm interested to try them out. So that's 3. That's literally a maximum.
I'd probably be buying more headsets and earbuds and headphones if I could find a reasonably priced set by Alpine or Ohm. Because those are my go-to brands for stereo hi-fi speakers.
Alpine's a solid brand, dude. I've always loved their subwoofers, their tweeters,
I have a subwoofer
their head units,
and the tweeter and the high end.
Yeah,
in the living room. And,
bro.
Oh man,
Pete, there's brands people don't know about that have been well established in home and mobile audio. Like nobody knows Nakamichi.
Oh yeah,
I've been using
I know
Nakamichi for decades, bro.
I priced out a set of those at 8-piece set for just $950 for someone.
Bro, I love Nakamichi. that is some of the tightest bass I've ever heard come out of my speakers in any setup with any amps or whatever, in my cars. I always went with subwoofers, Nakamichi, Alpine, JBL. I've used tons of different brands, and honestly, like Polk Audio is another home audio solution that is great.
At the moment, my audio mastering on my production computer, I'm running a Sonar card with an X.
I hear Sonos is pretty good for the home
No,
home audio.
Decent.
I'm saying Sonar, and this is a $500 sound card.
I'm just going no video tonight, guys. I'm going back and forth.
Yeah. I will say I've even used Vizio. Anybody heard of Vizio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vizio's be pretty decent. Even LG soundbars. Like soundbars on a whole, there are so many out there.
Oh my god.
Honestly, Nakamoto, yeah, you're right. That bass that came out of that thing.
Bruh, Nakamichi,
man.
Whatever.
Oh,
I say Nakamoto's
Nakamichi's completely different.
Actually, the warehouse I always order my Nakamichis from is in Brooklyn.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's where their U.S. Headquarters is based.
Yeah.
I don't like the Mac Pro speakers. I get a lot of feedback after a year, in my experience.
Yeah. Last question, and then I'm done for the night. You guys can do whatever you want. Let's go. Since we're on the topic of audio, let's talk devices audio. Which company, in your opinion, you got to pick a company, has the best audio quality on their products? And I want to hear which company, like in the tech field, from Apple, Samsung, all these competitors. I want you guys to be honest and give me a truthful answer which company has the best sounding products in their devices. So that means computers, phones, tablets, watches, etc. Pete, I'm gonna start. Pete, I'm gonna start with you.
When I listen to sound, I have this vinyl, this record player and cassette player, both from Tungsten, and a Millennium M-Star amp going through Alpine speakers. I don't touch digital audio for the most part.
But if you have to pick,
Mike, are you talking about like smartphone, like mobile tech for sound?
Mobile tech, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so you're talking smartphones and tablets and stuff like that.
Tablets.
I just go with the phone in my pocket because if I want to listen to something, I go into my sound system.
Harman, that's the company that owns AKG.
Yeah,
so what about you,
company.
Sam?
From smartphones, I think LG does the most with their DACs. So therefore,
well, they're also a speaker company. I'd be surprised if they didn't.
Yeah, and if you think about it, like if you're going to drive a really good pair of headphones, say you have a pair of Sennheisers, or you have a pair of like nice Sonys, right? Some like legitimate cans that you paid a few $100s for. They're awesome and punchy and loud. The DAC, that's the quad DAC, that's in the LG V40, 50, 35, 30, I think. That's the phone to get if you're an audiophile. Samsung's drivers, or their DAC that's built into their devices is high quality, but it's not to the standard of LG, because LG's you can even configure it in their settings, so it's customizable, it's adjustable. That kind of sets them apart. The hardware is great, the control is great. For an all-in-one, I'm impressed by what the S10 Plus has. The one thing I'll say though, like Google does a good job of their stereo setup with their headphone speaker and their bottom firing shooter.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty loud, but their DAC is not great, because when I connect that thing, like the quality of sound, while it does get loud and it's very vibrant sound, it's not the clarity.
So I actually get some decent sound off this, but I at half volume and I put it on a really dense piece of wood.
Well,
I'm afraid to say who I think I like. I'm afraid kind of, because I feel like all y'all about to go be like hounds, about to hound me down. But this is just me. That's my opinion. But I'm gonna go Apple, and I'm gonna tell you why. That's why I was afraid. I'm not talking headphones. They,
No,
they make
it's
gar-
loud. It's loud, bro. My wife's 10S Max has really vibrant, loud sound. That's true.
But I'm not talking iPhone. But I will get to that in a sec. I'm talking iPad Pro. I'm talking not MacBook. The other one. What was that one? MacBook Air. See, that's why I'm afraid to say, because everybody's got to hit me down. They're about to hunt me down. They're about to get the pitchforks and be like, Dad, take that back.
You and your apples.
But I'm being honest.
Don't do that.
I'm being honest. Look, Apple in the 80s and 90s, in the Steve Jobs era, they were all about the streaming audio quality. So if anybody's going to talk about audio, Apple gets first dibs because they had the iPod. I know cassettes, Sony's with the what do they call those, like the Walkman, and those were cool. But Apple was the one that pioneered it with the iPod, with the being able to hold so much music on that. Whether or not we get into streaming or not, but they knew about a thing or two.
The iPod.
Do y'all
was
remember?
Great. You put a 2 tera hard drive in, you can get a lot of lossless audio on there.
But then let's talk about now their physical audio products. Now, do y'all know about, before HomePod, did y'all know that Apple made an iPod accessory where you put the thing in with the iPod and it has like a big woofer and tweeter? I don't know if y'all remember this. It was like like those boomer. I don't know how to say it, but this is Steve Jobs came out with this, and that thing, to this day, somebody found it and did a sound test, and they said the sound test is actually better than the HomePod.
Yeah, it's because Steve threw a table when it didn't sound right.
Yeah, honestly, Steve Jobs, anything he does is great. But the point that I'm trying to break...
No, he had a temper, and he got people to comply to his idealistic perfectionism.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. Steve Jobs is that much of a beast. But the point I'm trying to make is that Apple puts effort into their sound. Not talking headphones, I'm talking devices. Because with the iPad Pros, they have 4 woofers and 4 tweeters. So they try to get as much low end in there to make it nice and punchy. MacBook Pros, for me, with a laptop, I'd say they're the second best in sound. Second best. iPhones, it's loud. Yeah, you're right. They're loud. And if you pair it with Apple Music, it'll probably sound even better. But the HomePod, in my opinion, is the best sounding smart speaker on the market. But it's a useless product, yeah, but it's the best sounding. It's got a woofer, 7 tweeters.
But it's useless.
Acoustically too. But it sounds better. That's the most important part now, is it, Pete?
It's good, but you can also tell Siri on that to delete your iCloud.
No, I don't think you can. I don't know anyone that has. I mean, I challenge somebody to do that, and then I'll pay you back for your iCloud. But the point is, I go Apple only because I see how seriously they take their audio. They're not involved with Beats, even though they want to be, because Beats, even though they acquired them, they can't really touch it because that's their own thing. They can give the technology, but they can't really touch it. So for me, I'm going to say Apple because I've seen what they could do with the iPad Pro. I've seen what they could do with speakers. And I think that they're pretty good. That's just me, though. Now I feel like the hounds have been loose. It's feeding time.
Apple's fine. They're fine.
Yeah, they are. They're good. I mean, as long as when you use a device, you haven't said to yourself, "This thing is legit terrible." You get what I'm saying? Like if it's
I said that about Catalina the first hour.
But that's what I'm saying. Like if it's not strictly an audio device, like if that's not its primary focus and it's passable, then it's that. If it's good, it's a great bonus, and if it's elite, then it makes it unique. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, audio definitely matters when it comes to mobile devices. How much we emphasize it, I guess it kind of depends on the niche that the device kind of fits in. Like I'm really considering an LG V50 as my content creator type of device. Maybe instead of getting a brand new device, get a lightly used one for a few $100, you know, and kind of going that way to just produce content, filming and the audio, and just kind of go that way. And even like the other types of hardware we've talked about, like, you know, sometimes you don't have to spend all that money to get good performers. And I think we've talked about some of the devices that actually fit the bill, you know, not spending all that money.
Yeah.
So would you say that what we've talked about in this last few minutes would be similar to how we feel about smartphones? You don't have to buy the most expensive to get the latest grades. You
Yeah,
buy something that does the
or
job
do
well.
you have to? You don't have to upgrade every year.
Exactly.
You know, I
I'm
would
kind
say
of glad
that
I brought
something
this
should be
in.
used every 2 years, maybe. You know.
You're right, and that's the good thing with diversifying, because we always talk a lot about mobile. We spend so much time on that we forget about the little things like that. So
It
that's
matters.
why I kind of brought that in tonight. I
Yeah.
brought that in tonight, kind of points of similarities. So as much as we talk about this stuff, there are other things that fall into place with the same ideas, and I hope I was able to bring that in to you guys tonight.
Yeah,
We
appreciate it,
talking
Mike.
about headphones and things.
Yeah, appreciate it,
Yeah,
man.
no worries, guys.
Maybe we'll do an audio podcast one of these days. We'll talk about the hardware we use, what we like about it, and
Oh
talk about kind of what
man,
we spend and stuff. You know.
Mm-hmm.
an
All right.
audio podcast. I'd probably, if I talked about it, I'd probably confuse the younger half and give the older half nostalgia.
All right. Anything else for the good of the order, gentlemen?
I think that's it for me.
Waiting to hear back from a IoT security submission I gave to ASAC. So,
What? Oh, so that could be any week now.
it has to be before the end of the month
Ooh.
because conference starts on the 9th.
All right, keep us posted.
And I'd have to fly to Puerto Rico for that.
Well, you got a friend there in Landon. He's over there.
Yeah, maybe if I'm not doing a section, could track me down on the Discord and we could talk about some T-Mobile Band 71.
So here's what I'm about to do. I'm about to get off here. We're going to wrap things up, but the after party will be over at TK Total Tech's live stream. He's over there live streaming now. We'll be over there. I'll be in there for a minute while I just wrap up a couple of last emails and kind of wrap things up here at home. But I do want to thank some people. I want to thank Pete for being here tonight, as well as Mike from Technoid. I want to thank all the moderators, Rafi, Carlos, Mike. I know you just popped in, or John, excuse me. I know you just popped in. So, Robert, Tom, Landon, everybody who was here earlier, anybody who provided a super chat or a PayPal donation, the stickers, Michael, I see you. Maverick was here. Good conversation. Ronald as well. A lot of people to name, Faye, everybody that was here. Thank you guys for coming in and hanging out. DGAF. It was a lot. Paul.
Troy, those stickers do not show up on our chat, but thank you for the 2 bones.
Yeah. Yeah. Jay, Seabass.
Or
Sebby,
did I say
thanks, man.
Troy? I hope I said Troy.
But yeah, I want to thank you guys for being here. If you could do me a favor, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and like the video. Big shout out to the replay crew for those of you out there that watch this on replay. And thanks for the dialogue and the conversation in the live chat. And thank you guys for taking the time to watch. I'm sure there's going to be some news, some merger stuff this week. I'm sure there'll be some other carrier stuff. AT&T will probably raise prices and fees again this week.
Wait. Didn't they do that last week?
They sure did. And then T-Mobile will probably make some awesome promises to help people save money and get covered with more service.
Wait. Didn't they do that last week?
They sure did. We'll expect more of that this week. And
Verizon will say nothing, and
Yeah.
Sprint will lose customers.
yeah, so more of the same, but there'll be action to report on. So I'll be bringing it to you guys. And I think I have a video coming out of Band 46 video that'll be dropping this week. So, and then I got to do Band 48. And then I got to do the history of T-Mobile, which I'll have done by probably December 9th, because
No.
Something's
You
not
should
happening.
wait till after the first court hearing and just shadow drop it.
All right, that'd be cool. I'll be
Yeah.
looking at that. So that's pretty much it. On behalf of Pete, on behalf of Mike, on behalf of the SMT, we hope you guys have a great rest of the evening. We appreciate you being here, and we'll catch you guys on the next podcast.
Peace.
Tony time.
What is Tony time?